Hi, welcome to this Excel tutorial video, and today we're going to talk about inserting shapes into our Excel documents. This video was recorded in March 2021 using Excel 365. So in Excel you've got all sorts of options of inserting different objects onto your worksheets. So today we're going to look at the shapes. So if I go to insert, in Excel 365 you've got this drop down that says illustrations. Earlier versions, different versions of Excel, it might just say insert symbol or insert shape. But if I click on this drop down, I've now got an option here that says shapes. And if I click on that, I get a load of shapes, a load of options. And each of the shapes are sitting in their own little sections here. Now, what's quite cool about this, I think, is if we go down here, you've got a flowchart option. So if you understand what each of these symbols mean within a flowchart structure, you can use Excel to build flowcharts using these symbols here and these connectors here. There's all sorts of options that we've got. So let us just choose an example of a shape, and then we'll start looking at formatting and playing with the shapes. So they all initially work in the same way. So if I click on any shape, let's say I click on this shape here, this rectangle with top corners snipped. When I click the shape, we're going to go back to the Excel worksheet. Excel will take us there, and if I press it, you can see my cursor's now changed to a little thin cross. Now, in order to create the shape, I haven't clicked any buttons yet, so my cursor's this little cross. When I'm in a position where I want to start building my shape, I press my left mouse button and I keep it pressed. The cursor's changed a little bit to a darker cross, and I, with my mouse pressed, start drawing my shape until it's at a size that I'm happy with. So let's leave it like that. And as soon as I release my mouse button, the shape is created. Now Excel immediately will highlight that shape, and as soon as the shape is highlighted, you get this shape format tab with a load of new toolbar options here. If I click away from that tab disappears. If I click back on the shape, the tab appears again. And all of these options now relate to the shape that we've got selected. So I'm going to go through some of the examples here now. Let us start with the fill. So right now the fill is some sort of blue color. Let us click and change it to yellow. We can go to the outline and say I want the outline to be burgundy or whatever color that is. It's not thick enough, so we can also look at the outline and say let's make it thicker. Maybe we make it dashed using one of these options here. So there's a lot of different options that you can do for the outline. And then if we go to effects, there's also some other effects that you can do to make it look a little bit, if I just go to preset, maybe I'll select this. So it makes it, you see, it's kind of added that little 3D to it. I want to take that off. And we'll put this back on. Also, now we've got this shape here, we can add some text to it. So if I right click on the shape, I've got the option to edit text. Immediately the text will appear in the top left of your shape, and I can put some text. Now you can't see that, the text is white. So if I highlight that again, in order to format the text, I'm going to go to the Home tab, and here I'm going to change the font color to black, and I'm going to make it bold. And what's quite good here is right now it's in the top left because of these justified options here, but if I choose middle and middle, it goes right in the middle of my shape, and I can make it bigger. So that's quite good. So let's go back to our shape format tab. Maybe this shape isn't exactly how we want it. So we've got, within the shape, we've got these things called, well, in fact, before I go to edit points, let's look at this. We can resize it. Now it's there. We can click on any of these options here and we can make it bigger. If you click a corner, then you can kind of horizontally and vertically resize it. But if you click on one of these, then it keeps the same height, but you're altering the width, and the opposite is true for those ones there. But we've also got these things called edit points. So if I right click here and I choose edit points, it now gives us these black points here. So I can change slightly the way the pitch of that that slope. When I'm selecting one of these points, it'll add these white points to it. And what that allows you to do is to add a kind of curve to the edge where the white square is. Also, if I hover over here with my mouse, you'll see the mouse changes slightly there. And that means you can add a new edit point. So if I click on that and I drag it out, I've got a new edit point. So you can kind of mess about with the shape and make it as crazy as you want it to be. Then there's all sorts of options of rotating, adding different styles of word art, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of things you can do with it. The last thing I want to show you is how we assign macros to shapes. So I've, in previous video, created a few macros that change the color of cells and the format of fonts. So I'm just going to drag this. Actually, that's a good point. Just by clicking on the shape itself, anywhere in the shape, you can drag it to wherever you want it and reposition it. Or while it's highlighted, if you use your hold on, that should work. Yeah, my Excel's being a bit slow here, but as I'm using the up and down arrows, it's moving the shape. It's repositioning the shape by the smallest of margins, so you can be quite accurate about where you position a shape. There you go. Sorry, Excel. I don't know what was going on there. So the last thing I want to do is I want to create another shape, and we're going to assign one of our pre-created macros to it. So let's go to Insert. Let's click on drop downs and shapes. And when I'm choosing these shapes, I do this in a lot of my worksheets. What I like to choose is this shape here that's called the bevel. And if I put the bevel here, the reason I like this is it kind of looks like a button. So, and I'll add some text here and say, we'll just put yellow box, and I will reposition that to be the middle, make it bold. Now when I right click on this shape, we have an option to assign a macro. So if I click on assign macro, I've got these macros. Actually, my yellow one's missing from there. So I'll choose the orange blue underline macro, and if I right click on that, I'm going to edit the text to be orange rather than yellow to fit with my macro. Now I've got my macro assigned, and now it's assigned. When I go over it with my mouse, the cursor changes and the hand appears, meaning you can now select this. If I click on this cell here and I go over this and press that, that cell has now, my macro is fired and formatted that cell. That's the end of this video. I hope you found it helpful.